So here we have our fabric. So you have to have a piece of fabric bigger than your frame. Okay, whatever color you're keen on. And on the back of it, you need to iron on some really stiff interfacing. Okay, so make sure you've got the really stiff interfacing. And then behind that, I also have some stabilizer, which will help keep things nice and firm. And once you cut out the badge, you're going to have that extra thickness that you need so that then you can attach it. You can put some fusible interfacing on here as well. That's double-sided, and you can just iron it on to your jacket. But that is your frame, and I'm going to show you how to set up the machine next. Okay. So here we have our fabric. So you have to have a piece of fabric bigger than your frame. Okay, whatever color you're keen on. And on the back of it, you need to iron on some really stiff interfacing. Okay, so make sure you've got the really stiff interfacing. And then behind that, I also have some stabilizer, which will help keep things nice and firm. And once you cut out the badge, you're going to have that extra thickness that you need so that then you can attach it. You can put some fusible interfacing on here as well. That's double-sided, and you can just iron it on to your jacket. But that is your frame, and I'm going to show you how to set up the machine next. Okay, so here it is in there. So I've got all 3 layers clamped in. I'm just going to tighten this up so that it's really firm and it's not going to slip. All right. Once you've turned your machine on and you have the embroidery base on as well, you're going to press the screen and it's going to move the carriage. So watch the carriage will move when you hit OK. And then I'm going to plug in my USB. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. The USB goes in the side here. Make sure you get it around the right way. Okay. Sometimes it's a bit fussy, but there we go. When the little thinking symbol comes up, you know it's working. Shh, puppies. All right, so it's taking me to the files that are on the USB stick at the moment. I'm healthy at the moment too, can you tell? Okay, so go into badges, which is where I've styled everything. I'm going to the BTS outline, and I'm going to go into the PES file. Okay, just a second. Can you see this is the only one that's the right size because it's the only one that is available. So you can't press any of the other ones. So I'm just going to set that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate it. So I'm going to hit rotate and I'm going to turn it on its end. Then you hit OK. And then I'm going to resize it a little. So I'm going to make it a bit smaller. No, wrong way. I'll go that way a bit more. Oh, I need it to come in. So I want to bring it in so that I can put a frame around it. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, I can put a frame around that now. So I'm going to add shape. I'm going to go for a rectangle. Oh, no, actually I'm going to go back. I'm going to go for this rectangle so I don't have to move around much. The first thing I want to do is I want to get just a line one. So this one here is just going to stitch a line, a border to sew over the, okay? So you can move it around. okay, so editing can be used when the pattern is out of the red line. Okay. All right. Okay, so add another one. I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to use the same one, but this time I'm going to use, that's the satin stitch. So I'm going to once again make it a bit bigger so that it's going to fit over the top of what I've just done. Okay, so it's going to give me that frame around the outside of my piece. Okay, so that should work. And edit, embroidery. That's going to give us our colors. I'm going to do all of this in just black. Okay, so you'll be able to see what I do. All right, so I've already got the cotton on. So all you do is you take top off and you have to if it's got paper on it, you can remove the paper. And then you're going to thread the cotton through the top like this, so that you can use it. And then you're going to make sure, just to make sure it's not caught in there, and just pop it back. You can use it. And then you're going to make sure, just to make sure it's not caught in there, and just pop it back up in the top here. You don't need to put the cap on, so you don't need this, okay, because these are heavy enough to stay in place. Now I'm going to go all black for this, so what I'm doing is I'm just going to slide this under here and clip it in, and then I'm going to lower my foot. Now I'm going to start in just a second. All right, so it's all ready to go, and all you have to do, once this button is green, all you do is press start, and it will start stitching. And so it's going to do the line design first, and then it will move to the outside frame. This is the BTS line picture of all of the guys. It's kind of fascinating to watch. This will take about 4 minutes to sew all of the 7 of them. Come back when it's finished. Okay, so now that it's done the inside, it's gone around and it's done the outside edge as well, and it's just stitching over the top of that. So this is a satin stitch. You need to make sure that you choose the satin stitch, or else it will not stitch nicely like this. So you need to make sure you choose the satin stitch to do the edge of the badge. Okay, so it's almost done the satin stitch. It's just going to go all the way around doing this satin stitch. I didn't really line it up particularly well with that understitch, so can you see that there's a line here that I would actually prefer it to be stitching over the top of, but that's okay. It just looks like a frame. So as long as you've got this thick satin stitch on the outside, you should be good. Okay, so it's all finished and it's done the outside edge. It cuts for you when it's finished, so you can just pull this back, lift it off, and bring it over. You just have to lift up the foot so you can get that off. And then you're going to undo the screw on the end here so that you can get it out of the frame. Just undo that screw. Oops, throwing it away. So just undo the screw, pop it out. And now that you've popped it out, you can trim it. So use a small pair of scissors, something curved or with a curved edge on the scissors, or your left-handed scissors. And just get really, really close. So don't get too close, like leave a little bit of a gap. But you just want to go around. You could use pinking shears as well, which will give you a zigzag. But you just want to get nice and close to the edge. Like that. And there you have your badge. There you go. Pretty groovy, isn't it? So BTS, all the guys. I even know most of their names. J-Hope and Sugar and Jimin and all of the names. There we go. So just have to trim up these little threads, these little extra threads. If you wanted to, you could go and just get rid of that. Like if I felt inclined, I would just get my quick unpick, which I don't have one on here, and go around and just unpick that line there, if you don't like it. But could just use this. I actually really hate it because it's a mistake, and I don't like mistakes. But yeah, so you can just go around and just unpick that extra line that I've created there. would have liked this line to be a bit closer, but it's just playing with it and just keep going until you get it right. I mean, it doesn't matter if you do it a couple times or 3 or 4 times even, until you get what you want. But yeah, just go around and tidy it up, and there you have your badge.